So I would like to answer two questions within this very limited time in connection with the competition issues in clean energy industry. So the first, that there are any competition restriction in the EI global value chain that influence build versus buy decision of the clean energy industry players. And the second question I try to answer, where could autonomous machine cartels emerge in the case when clean energy industry players deploy its own AI? So the first question is arising from the perspective when the clean industry player is buyer of the AI solution. The second is when it is AI deployer. So in the first case, the question is whether there are any competition constraints. There are two obvious bottlenecks or scarcity in the global AI value chain. The first is in the AI chips market, which is dominated by NVIDIA, with almost 80% market share owned by this company, a US-based company. So buying managed compute capacity has obvious benefits for the clean energy industry players as well in terms of elasticity, security, audit trails. But for example, Aramco Grok Corporation is a counter-example. And the other bottlenecks exist in the cloud market, which is dominated by three global players. 60% of the first three players dedicated to Amazon, Microsoft, and Google. Obviously, multi-cloud preferred by the industry players, but the high barriers to switching is hindering. The EU Data Act, however, hopefully will abolish the switching egress fees by 2027. Compliance costs must also be taken into account. REMIT 2 sets out transparency requirements for algorithmic trading systems. AI used by artificial infrastructure falls into the high-risk category according to the AI Act, European AI Act, which may also entail a significant compliance cost. So taken together, these factors may strengthen the buying decision on behalf of the industry players. So clean energy industry players often move to hybrid solutions, buy foundation layers, and build energy-specific logic. The second question relates to the situation when the clean energy providers deploy own AI on the market. This is the second situation which can be very often. There are four areas of clean energy industry where competition concerns can be emerged due to the operating their own AI. The first is the electronic vehicle charging. As you know, the pricing can be easily to monitor, track due to the retail applications. If you have electronic vehicles, that's you well known of this fact. If there is an artificial intelligence behind those pricing monitoring applications, they can easily recognize the positive benefits of coordination without any explicit agreements. That's important. So if it is an autonomous cartel where there is no explicit agreements between the companies, but the applications or AI-backed applications who tacitly recognize the collective benefits of coordinating the prices, which under the European competition law can be illegal as abuse of collective dominant position, but it is true, it is very difficult to prove. If I remember, in the past 15 years, we had only one collective dominant position case in Hungary. So therefore, regulatory solutions can be implemented here. For the example of retail fuel industry, where the frequency of price increase decision is often capped or limited. So there are a few countries in the world who decided to cap the frequency of the price decision in the fuel industry. That could be a good example for the electronic vehicle charging applications as well. Not so frequently increase the price. That could prevent the tacit collusion or the very frequent price monitoring decisions. The second is the wholesale power storage bidding, where learning agents can converge to super-competitive bids. This situation also can be prevented by sector-specific regulation, as REMIT 2 does. REMIT 2 has an explicit reference to algorithmic wholesale pricing agents and makes the working of those agents very transparent, which can deter or detect the illegal conduct. The third, the shared optimizers for virtual power plant aggregators. And the fourth is the time of use engines. They share the same antitrust risk. When rivals licensing the same auto bidder, which generates the same price level, this can be hub and spoke cartel under the competition law, which cannot be exempted with the reference to the autonomous behavior in the EU law. So according to the EU competition law, if you have an autonomous pricing algorithm, you cannot be exempted from the liability if you are the deployer of this autonomous application. This is the EU competition law conclusion made 2 years ago in the horizontal guidelines issued by the European Commission. So this is the end. Let me summarizing my main conclusions. So building on AI or by on AI, taking into account the competition restraints in the global EU value chain. It seems that the chip and cloud concentration plus compliance clause compose a nudge to hybrid solution, but interestingly, the Data Act by making multi-cloud and therefore buying options safer from locking. Regarding the risk of tacit collusion of autonomous machine deployed by clean energy players, cartels can be prevented from the analogous example from the retail, the fuel retail in case of electronic vehicle charging situation. Common pricing engines raises hub and spoke cartels, REMIT 2 deters super competitive bids using learning agents in wholesale. Personally, I find very interesting that the regulation shapes AI-specific competitive landscape. That was very interesting for me. So, for example, AI Act REMIT to increase compliance costs for clean energy industry players, which encourages industry players to buy. At the same time, Data Act mitigates lock-in effects in cloud market, facilitating switching and multi-cloud solution. And in addition, REMIT 2 helps prevent algorithmic pricing in the wholesale market. Thank you very much for your attention.